Saipan and Tinian, April 15, 2026. A super typhoon steadily battered a pair of remote U.S. islands in the Pacific Ocean with ferocious winds and relentless rains, shredding tin roofs and forcing residents to take cover from flying tree limbs. Super Typhoon Sinlaku pounded the Northern Mariana Islands for hours before daybreak Wednesday, slowing just to inflict more damage across the islands of Tinian and Saipan, home to nearly 50,000 people. Video footage showed numerous homes completely destroyed, especially those with zinc roofs that were swept away by the strong winds. Electricity poles and streetlights were downed en masse, causing a complete power outage on both islands. In the village Susup on Saipan, the wind tore the roof off a commercial building and broke tree branches. A blue sedan lay on its side. Residents shot some video of a car sitting on top of two others in his apartment building's parking lot below. The winds also tore off part of his balcony railing. Preliminary reports include a lot of flooding, uprooted trees and downed power lines, said Jaden Sanchez, spokesperson for the Saipan mayor's office. There were no reports of deaths, he said. Typhoon Sinlaku made landfall over the U.S. Northern Mariana Islands at approximately 10:30 a.m. Eastern Daylight Time April 14th, with a large eye of the storm passing over both Tinian and Saipan Islands simultaneously. According to the Joint Typhoon Warning Center, JTWC, Sinlaku had sustained winds of 145 miles per hour, 230 kilometers per hour, at 8 a.m. Eastern Daylight Time, April 14th, shortly before landfall.
Flooding that's already taking place.
Fortunately, an eyewall replacement cycle that began on Monday significantly weakened Sinlaku over the prior 24 hours. The typhoon weakened from a Cat 5 with 175 miles per hour, 280 kilometers per hour, winds at 8 a.m. Eastern Daylight Time Monday to a Cat 4 with 145 miles per hour, 230 kilometers per hour, winds at 8 a.m. Eastern Daylight Time Tuesday. Since damage increases exponentially with wind speed, this weakening theoretically could have reduced Sinlaku's damage by over a factor of 4, according to a damage table from NOAA. Tropical force winds and torrential rainfall also led to flash flooding on Guam, a U.S. territory to the south with several U.S. military installations and about 170,000 residents, the Weather Service said. Earlier, it hit the outer islands and atolls of Chuuk in the Federated States of Micronesia. The American Red Cross and its partners were sheltering more than 1,000 residents across Guam and the Northern Marianas, agency spokesperson. "I'm guessing anything that was made of wood and tin did not survive this," said Glenn Hunter, who grew up on Saipan, the largest of the Northern Mariana Islands as well as its capital, known for its resorts, snorkeling, and golf. Hunter, who has weathered numerous typhoons, told this felt like the strongest yet. Rain was seeping into every crevice of his concrete home, and he watched at least 3 tin roofs fly past his yard, he said. Locals have been advised by the National Weather Service to remain in designated shelters, as the system stalls over the islands of Tinian and Saipan, with winds up to 200 kilometers per hour reported this morning. On Tinian, one of the 3 main islands of the CNMI, locals have woken up to devastation. Trees and debris littered the streets and yards of homes. The mayor of Tinian reported that many residents' homes were swept away because they were located directly in the path of the storm's eye.
Ilang malunggay na lang, wala na yung mga banana.
The highest winds reported from Sinlaku thus far on Saipan have been 84 miles per hour, 135 kilometers per hour, gusting to 130 miles per hour, 209 kilometers per hour, at 9:54 to 9:55 p.m. local time. Although Guam and Rota are on the storm's weaker left-hand south side, they have been experiencing high winds and heavy rain squalls, especially on Rota. The highest wind gusts on Guam thus far have been 73 miles per hour, 118 kilometers per hour. Saipan recorded 5.32 inches, 135 millimeters, of rain on Monday. The National Weather Service in Guam is forecasting total rainfall amounts of 15 to 25 inches over Tinian and Saipan, seas of 20 to 30 feet, and storm surge flooding of 5 to 8 feet. Sinlaku is forecast to gradually weaken and recurve to the north and northeast during the remainder of the week, and is not a threat to any other land areas. U.S. Congresswoman Kim King-Hines, who represents Northern Mariana Islands, said conditions remained dangerous despite the eye of the storm slowly moving away from the area.
So that is the way
President Donald Trump approved emergency disaster declarations ahead of the latest storm for Guam and the Mariana Islands. The Federal Emergency Management Agency said it was coordinating support across multiple agencies, dispatching nearly 100 FEMA staff as well as other personnel. Super typhoons are the equivalent of Category 4 or 5 hurricanes in the Atlantic, with winds of at least 150 miles per hour, 240 kilometers per hour. There have been more than 300 super typhoons identified over the past 80 years by the Joint Typhoon Warning Center in Guam. The super typhoon comes just 3 years after Typhoon Mawar brought 225 kilometers per hour winds to CNMI and 8 years after Super Typhoon U2, the strongest typhoon ever recorded to impact the Mariana Islands, receiving reports that the current event was worse than U2. While the winds are weaker than U2, this is a much longer duration event, it's much slower, and it's going to prolong the damage, the impacts.
Some hunk of our mulberry All of our bananas came down. A lot of the bigger trees are tilting.
Earth's strongest storm of 2018, Super Typhoon Yutu, followed a nearly identical track as Sinlaku, hitting Tinian Island in the U.S. Northern Mariana Islands on October 24th with sustained winds of 175 miles per hour, 280 kilometers per hour. The strong northern eye wall of Yutu affected Saipan Island. Winds this strong at landfall are rarely observed, and Yutu is tied for 13th place for the strongest tropical cyclone at landfall in world history, according to data from the National Hurricane Center, NHC, and Joint Typhoon Warning Center, JTWC.